Our next guest is a 27-year Air Force veteran who retired as a lieutenant colonel and served as the director of the chief information officer at U.S. Special Operations Command.
He worked directly with senior officials of U.S. intelligence communities to ensure America's Special Operations Forces were adequately equipped to carry out critical national security missions, such as the one in Afghanistan.
Could have used him in Afghanistan.
Absolutely. Yeah. Joining us now is Ohio Congressman Bill Johnson. Good morning, sir, and thank you for your service. Congressman, what do you think of Secretary Blinken's testimony yesterday in front of the House Foreign Affairs Committee? And he really wasn't in front of them in person. He did it remote.
Well, that's problem number one. But the biggest problem is a withdrawal of our forces from a war zone like that should have never been a State Department operation in the first place. I mean, you're talking about the same team that was in charge when the Benghazi embassy fell during the Obama administration. Blinken was involved. Jake Sullivan was involved. The entire Biden front line, from the Secretary of State to the Defense to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, they owe the American people a big apology, because if this is their idea of advice and counsel to the president, if this is what they told him to do, then they failed. And if they didn't, then they have a responsibility to stand up and tell the American people that Joe Biden's not fit to sit in the White House as commander-in-chief.
You make a great point, Congressman, because people forget that this same cast of characters, including Antony Blinken, were all part of the decision-making team 10 years ago. That most recent international debacle that we call Benghazi, we lost an American ambassador. I want to play you a soundbite just because I'm wondering where you are on. I think the American people have lost trust in people like Antony Blinken, our Secretary of State, because he's a liar, and he lied 3 months ago to the entire world about our plan in Afghanistan. Take a listen, then we'll get some reaction.
I don't think that the fact that our forces are withdrawing, one, we're not withdrawing, we're staying. The embassy is staying, our programs are staying. We're working to make sure that other partners stay. We're building all of that up. And whatever happens in Afghanistan, if there is a significant deterioration in security, that could well happen. We've discussed this before. I don't think it's going to be something that happens from a Friday to a Monday.
Okay, so let's get your reaction. It wasn't a Friday to a Monday. It took 11 days, but we lost our embassy, we pulled out, and now we still got Americans stuck behind enemy lines. That was just 3 months ago that he made those comments. It was June 7th.
Yeah, we've lost our eyes and ears on the ground. The one thing we know about the Taliban, ISIS, and Al-Qaeda, they've been fighting each other for generations. The only thing they hate worse than each other is Americans. And they will join together like they did prior to 9/11 to come after us. And now we've not only, I've said for years, the war on terror is going to be fought. It's either going to be fought in our backyard or it's going to be fought in theirs. For 20 years, we kept the fight in their backyard. Thanks to Tony Blinken and the Biden administration, we've not only left the backyard, we've left the neighborhood. And now we have no assets there to see what the bad guys are doing.
Yeah, sir, you bring up a good point, because we don't have any eyes and ears there anymore. And everybody, will agree that, we needed to obviously pull a lot of troops out of Afghanistan, but we don't have any intel. And then we also have somebody who's in charge of the Taliban government, who's on the FBI's watch list, most wanted list. I mean, what are we looking at here in America?
Well, we made that mistake after World War I. We left the continent just a decade or two later. Nazi Germany began to mobilize again. We had to fight World War II all over again. And we learned a lesson. Right. That's why we have American troops throughout Europe today. That's why we have American troops in Japan. That's why we have American troops in South Korea. Because Americans are the guardians of the gate of freedom. And when we are standing guard at the gate and keeping our eyes on the bad guys, they tend to be a little bit more careful about what they do. And this is a bad day for safety and security, not only of Americans, but for our allies around the world. the war on terror has just entered a new phase in my view.
Sadly,
Yeah,
it has.
very.
Yeah, and after World War II, we rebuilt Europe, the Marshall Plan. What an insult, Congressman. 13 Americans died August 26, and he can't walk down the street from the State Department to Capitol Hill to be there in person. Slap in the face to those families.
Yeah, it is very, very shocking.
Very sad. All right. Well, we thank you so much, Congressman Bill Johnson, for coming on the show today, and thank you for your service, sir.